If you've watched the previous episodes in this series, you've set Claude up correctly, and you know how to brief it. This episode is about what you do with documents, which is most of what legal work actually is. A large agreement has landed, and you don't know where to start. Your client has sent you a folder of records, and you need to know what you have. You've drafted something, and you need to know if it holds up. 4 document types, 4 workflows, the exact prompt for each one. Step by step, no assumptions. Let's get into it. This is the 5th episode in the tutorial series. The Foundations Masterclass covers everything you need to know about Claude before you start. The setup episode covered your one-time configuration. The briefing episode covered how to brief Claude properly, the prompt structure that makes the difference between generic output and useful output. This episode covers document work, the workflows for the 4 types of documents you'll encounter most often in legal practice. The workflows in this episode also connect to the Solicitor's Claude Kit, a set of installable skills that make these workflows permanent. More on that as we go. For now, let's start with the document type that catches most practitioners off guard, the large, unfamiliar document that lands on your desk and needs to be dealt with before you've had time to read it. 4 document types are covered in this episode. Large unknown documents. Something significant has landed, and you need to know what it is and what it requires before your first read. Contracts and agreements. The review workflow that goes beyond what's in the document to what's missing, what's ambiguous, and what will matter later. Client documents and correspondence. Reading what your client has given you to understand what you have, what helps, what hurts, and what you need to go back and ask for. And your own work product. 3 passes on your own drafts before anything leaves your desk. Each workflow includes the exact prompt. Adapt the role, the jurisdiction, and the matter specifics to your situation. The structure holds across practice areas. Workflow 1. Large unknown documents. Something large has landed. A 200-page agreement, a disclosure document you've never seen before, an unfamiliar type of pleading. You need to know what it is and what it requires before you've read a single page. 4 steps. Step 1. Upload the document and identify what it is. Don't assume you know what you have. Ask Claude to tell you. The prompt. What type of document is this? What is its purpose? Who are the parties, and what is each one trying to achieve? 30 seconds. You now know what you're dealing with. Step 2. Get the structure before you read the substance. Know where things are before you go looking for them. The prompt. Give me the structure of this document, what each section covers, and roughly how many pages. What are the most important sections for someone acting for your client's role? Step 3. Ask what requires your attention first. Not a full summary, a triage flag. What are the 3 things I should read first? What is unusual, missing, or potentially problematic? Flag anything that requires immediate client attention. Step 4. Now read. Your first read is now a second read. You already know the structure, the issues, and where to focus. The document hasn't changed. Your starting point has. That's the value of running the triage workflow first. Workflow 2. Contract review. The standard contract read checks what's in the document. The Claude contract review workflow runs 4 passes, each one looking for something different. Together, they produce a review that goes significantly further than a standard first read. Here's the master prompt. You are assisting a commercial attorney acting for role under jurisdiction law. Review this agreement and give me 1. A summary of each party's core obligations. 2. Any clause that is unusual, one-sided, or potentially problematic for my client. 3. Defined terms used but not formally defined. 4. Any obligations that are ambiguous or silent on how they're measured or enforced. And 5. What should be in this agreement that isn't? Flag any assumptions. 5 outputs from 1 prompt. The first, what's in it, is the standard read. Claude produces that in under 60 seconds. The second, what's unusual, flags one-sided clauses, non-standard positions, anything that departs from what a balanced agreement would include. The third, what's ambiguous, catches obligations with no measurement standard, rights with no enforcement mechanism, defined terms that drift. The fourth and fifth together, what's ambiguous and what's missing, are where this review consistently produces something worth acting on. The gap read is the most valuable pass and the most commonly skipped. This prompt runs it automatically. Workflow 3. Client documents and correspondence. Your client has handed over a folder of emails, records, and documents. Before you start advising, you need to know what supports your position, what hurts it, what's conspicuously absent, and what you need to go back and ask for. Here's the prompt. You are assisting a blank, acting for a blank. Read these documents and tell me: 1. Which documents support our position and how? 2. Which could be used against us by the other side and how? 3. What these documents suggest should exist but doesn't. What's missing? And 4. What I need to go back to the client to clarify or obtain. Organize by document, then by issue. 3 reads in that prompt. The support read. What helps your case and why? The exposure read. What the other side will use against you so you can prepare for it rather than discover it in cross-examination. And the gap read. What should exist but doesn't. The gap read is where this workflow consistently produces the most value. The missing email chain. The board minute that should record the decision. The contract schedule that was referenced but never provided. Claude reads for absence in a way that's easy to miss when you're focused on what's in front of you. That's what the third output in this prompt is designed to surface. Workflow 4. Your own work product. You wrote it. You know what you meant. The 3 reads in this workflow take your draft through 3 different perspectives before anything goes out. Each one catches something the others miss. The first read, the critic. Read this draft as a senior colleague reviewing it before it goes out. What is unclear, legally questionable, or likely to cause problems? What would you change and why? This catches logical gaps, ambiguous obligations, and propositions that don't hold up under scrutiny. The second read, the other side. Read this as opposing counsel. What will you challenge? What clauses or propositions are most vulnerable? What would you press on in a response? This surfaces the weaknesses your opponent will find before they find them. If you've watched the Litigator's Playbook episode on this channel, you'll recognize this as the motion stress test, the same principle applied to any draft before it leaves your desk. The third read, the client. Read this as the client receiving it. What will confuse them? What will worry them? And what questions will they call me about tomorrow morning? This is the client read, covered in a recent short on the channel. The most immediately useful pass for any client-facing document. The questions Claude surfaces are the ones your client was going to ask. You answer them before they call. Every workflow in this episode works as a one-off prompt. You can run any of them right now in a Claude conversation, with or without a project. If you want the contract review workflow to run identically on every contract without retyping the prompt each time, that's what a Claude skill does. The Solicitor's Claude Kit, available on Gumroad, includes the contract review skill, the installable version of Workflows 02 in this episode. Install it once, and every contract you run through Claude follows the same 4-pass review automatically. The kit also includes an advice letter skill and a file note skill, a set your preferences sheet for house style tailoring, and a start here guide. Link is at claudeforlawyers.gumroad.com. 2 things that don't change regardless of which workflow you use. First, verify all citations. Claude does not access Westlaw, LexisNexis, or Fastcase. Any legal authority Claude mentions must be verified through your research tool before it goes near a client or a court. This applies to every workflow in this episode without exception. Second, The judgment call stays with you. Document workflows produce better information faster. The professional judgment applied to that information, the advice, the recommendation, the decision, remains yours. That's not a limitation of Claude. It's the correct division of labor. 4-pass contract review, client document mapping, and 3 reads on your own work before it leaves your desk. Every prompt in this episode is ready to use today, inside a project, or as a standalone conversation. The more you use them, the more calibrated your output becomes, because you'll start adapting the prompts to your practice area, your matter types, and your clients. Next in the series is EP04, Drafting with Claude. How to produce first drafts, redraft to a position, and adjust register for every output type a lawyer produces. And if you want the contract review workflow as an installable skill, the Solicitor's Claude Kit is on Gumroad at claudeforlawyers.gumroad.com. That's the episode. See you in the next one.